Yeah, I don't know if this tells me how many people are actually watching on YouTube. I wish it would. Should probably pull it up on YouTube just so I can read comments because they come up there. Gives a better view. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick as a sideline. Probably won't do it. I don't know. Yes, it's showing me as being live. Okay, let me just open that one up. Mute it so I don't get extra noise coming on. All right. Well, no, it doesn't show anybody there either. All right. Well, I'll hang out for a minute. Let somebody come in and join us. Okay, we got one person watching. That's a start. Introduce yourself. Just kind of waiting for a couple more people to join us here before we really get too started in. I'm going to wait a whole long time. We're 2 minutes in now. As you come into the live, if you would, just go into the comment section if you can and type your name. Say hello. All right, well, I'm sure other people will be joining in shortly. As I stated on my last live, I did go out last Saturday and I picked up 3 more chickens. I got 3 Bantam hens, or what you call pullets. They won't be laying eggs till spring. Unfortunately, even with a Premier One electric poultry fence, I am still dealing with that darn Fisher cat. I'm going to be visiting my local Lowe's and picking up some hardware cloth. And it's not going to be anything with big open holes, and it's going to be like a 1 inch by 2 inch hole maximum, probably. And welded wire, of course. And I am going to put in a very secure chicken run. I'm not just going to have it going around the outside edges. I'm also going to have it going underneath it so nothing can dig into the run, because I've lost 8 chickens now that were survivors. I did have one that died out of the first 6. And I don't want to spend any more money on chickens till I know that they are going to be safe in their area. I'm very, very disappointed with the Premier One fencing because that was very expensive. With the solar charging unit, that was over a $600 spend just on its own. And plus, I paid my employee to help me put it up because I don't care what they say about it, you're not going to do it with one person. Not without spending a whole lot of time and working on it. But yeah, so I've lost my last 3 chickens again. I do have a live trap set up out there now. Kind of hoping he's stupid and walks into the trap, or she's stupid and walks into the trap. I've got my gun ready. I find anything in that trap, it won't be coming out of there alive. I can guarantee that. That's funny. I got this name of a place I found today, and I have it listed on my Facebook page. But it's such a weird name, I have to keep going back to my Facebook page and look it up. It's a really cool little place. It's 50 acres of land. with a 4-acre pond. Right now, they have 2 cabins set up that they rent out. They have a third one being finished off, and that'll be available for rental as well. All the cabins are rented for $75 a night. They're working on getting a campground area set up. Right now, they haven't got electricity there yet. They're working with NICEAG to get the electricity brought down into the campground for 30 amp service for campers, and also for putting regular 120 volt to each cabin so that they can put lights in the cabin and whatnot. Maybe a refrigerator or whatever. It's a cool little place. I was pretty impressed. The out of the 2 cabins they have right now, one of them is more of like a family cabin. It'll sleep up to 4 adults, and then the other one is just made for 2 adults. The one for 4 actually has a couch in it, so that would become a bed. And it's got a little area where you can sit at a table with chairs around it and stuff. And it runs for the same price as the little tiny one that is made for just 2 people. But I love the guy's concept of what he's doing. The fact that he has the land, he's developing the land and doing something with it to actually generate an income is something that I'm very interested in doing myself. If we buy a good chunk of land out in Arkansas, and we can make it so that we're not constantly having to be at the area. Those guys got it set up on a video camera system where when we pulled in, they had an alarm go off on his phone or in his house. And when we drove down in, we got all the way down into the 3rd cabin where he's getting ready to rebuild, just checking the place out, looking around, because it did say family camping area, and that's what we were looking for. We didn't find the family camping area, so we turned around, basically, and he met us on the roadway. And we talked for a little bit about it. I was pretty impressed with what he's got going on. And if you go there camping with a camper or whatever, you won't have running water, you won't have septic system available. He does have a porta-john available, but that'll be $65 a night, which to me seems pretty high. But you are down in an area where you can put up to 3 campers onto the site. It's a pretty good sized site. I think he said it was 55 by 65 or something like that when he gets done developing it. And again, that will have electricity. Without electricity, any site is worth $65 a night. Actually, even with electricity and running water, I'd be hard pressed to pay $65 a night. That would really be hard. But let me go back and look the name of this place up again. I got it on my Facebook page in a different window. All right, the place is called Camp Kazuli, and it's located halfway between Norwich and Cincinnati, where I live. It's actually 10 minutes. Hi, Karen. How are we doing? It's actually 10 minutes from my house. We were in Norwich because they have the big Walmart, where in Cortland they've got the small one. And they're the same distance away. We wanted to go to the big one. And I'm glad we did. They actually had some stuff that the one in Cortland just doesn't carry. But yeah, I was really impressed when I drove by it on the way to Norwich. Something in my head said, on the way back, keep looking for that sign. Keep looking for it. And I looked for it, and I finally found it. And of course, I drove by it, and I told Leah, I says, I'm turning around. And she's like, why? I says, I want to go check out this Camp Kazuli. I want to know what it is. And because we go camping on that same road, just off that same road at a state campground. And well, actually, it's state-owned land that can be used for camping. It's also got a boat launch and other things for their pond. It's a pretty good-sized pond. And it's also the pond that destroyed my big boat. But I was like, well, if there's something else in this area, I'd just like to check it out. You know, if it's a place where we can park the camper for a weekend or whatever, just to get away, that's awesome. And being that close to home doesn't hurt my feelings any at all. Actually, it's about 3 miles further down the road, even if that. It might be less. Hi, Len. How we doing? It might be less than 3 miles down the road from the original campground we were camping at. And so I was like, yeah, let's check this place out. And I'm glad I did. The guy that owns it's a nice guy. And like I say, we talked for quite a while. And he gave us permission to go check out the 2 cabins that he has already done. Hi, Betty Bird Brown. So I told him, I said, well, we're definitely going to do that. So we went over and we checked out the first one. And I got back in the car and I pulled into the second one, and Leah's like, well, we could have just walked over to this one from the other one. I'm like, I know, but then I would have had to walk back, and I didn't want to do a lot of walking. My ankle's been bothering the crap out of me. Actually, I got good news on that yesterday. I got a call from my doctor's office, and the insurance company for workman's compensation is refusing to have me get another cortisone shot. And they refused it 2 different times. The first time was because the doctor put it under the wrong code or whatever. Hey, back to good. How we doing, Rachel? But he put it under the wrong code, and then they had to wait for workman's compensation board to say, yeah, no, that's not going to fly that way. But they told him how they were going to be able to make it work. So then he put it in again using what they told him to do, and the insurance company still refused it. So I'd been calling the doctor's office every week for the last couple of weeks going, hey, I'm just curious, anybody hear anything about what's going on with this thing? And finally, yesterday morning, I got a phone call from the doctor's office. And I wasn't next to my phone, so I didn't hear it ring. But they left me a voice message, so I called them right back. And they said, well, we need to set you up a follow-up appointment, and we want to do it on October 10th, and we want to do it at 1:15 p.m. Can you be here? Absolutely, I can be there. I said, but I've still got that same lurking question that I've had. And she says, hold on, let me finish setting the appointment up first, and then we'll go over that. And I was like, all right. So after she got done doing all the computer work or whatever to get the appointment set up, she says, all right, now about your question on this cortisone shot. She says, this is where we're at. The Workmen's Compensation Board, as you know, denied it. We put it in second time, the insurance company denied it. Don't know why. So when you come here on October 10th, or October 9th, rather, 10th is my birthday. October 9th, when you come on October 9th for the doctor's follow-up visit, he's going to use a sonogram to direct the needle, and he's going to give you the cortisone shot right here in the office. I was like, all right, cool. At least he's looking out for me now. And so I said to him, I said, hey, can we set this appointment up as ongoing every 3 months? I just go back to the doctor's office and do it all again, because to me, it would make a lot of sense. Hopefully they get something working on it. But I thought that was pretty cool. The day before my birthday, they finally gave me what should have been done back in like June. It's been a long fight. Like I told them, arthritis doesn't get better by ignorance. And originally what the doctor told me is if the cortisone shots stop working, the next thing that's going to happen is I go back under the knife and I have to fuse all the bones so that there's no movement in the foot to drive the arthritis nuts or whatever. And I didn't want that. And I actually told my lawyer that. I said, these guys denying these shots is making it so that's going to be the next step. Do they really want to keep denying these shots, or do they want to let me get the shot that I'm required to get and not have to go back under the knife? Because if I go back under the knife, my workman's comp payments go back up to full amount. Right now, they're not paying me anything. They haven't in a long time, claiming they overpaid me. I don't know how they figured that part out. But yeah, so that was some pretty good news. I was very happy with that. On the bad side, our camper has been at the same campground all this year. Yeah, it is a shame, Karen. Our camper's been at the same campground all year, and it was like every Saturday night when I was wanting to do my lives, it was like crossing my fingers and hoping as the sun was starting to set that the wind would slow down, because it was so windy at that campground all day long. From the time the sun came up till the time the sun went down, it was just nothing but wind. And then as it got closer and closer to the time for me to do my 8 o'clock live at night on Saturdays, the wind actually would die off, and it was like, okay, great. Now I can at least go do my live. We're not going back to that one. I talked to the owners, and they were like, well, what do you think? And I was like, well, I think it's awful windy here, and I'm not appreciating any of the wind. It's coming in off their little so-called lake, which is nothing more than a pond. But I told Lee, I said, we'll just go pick the camper up, bring it back. That was actually my intention yesterday, was to go get the camper. But I was having issues with my truck Thursday, and I was taking it to town because I needed to go get more materials for this back patio that we're closing in. And it did not want to run right. The engine light was on, and the ABS brake light was on. And I'm like, man, I just got this thing out of the shop in July, and here we are in September, getting close to the end of the month. I got to put it back into the shop, find out what's going on. So I went to AutoZone, and they actually do the uh, ODB sensor read, and then take it in and plug it into the computer, and the computer will print out everything that's wrong with the vehicle. Well, for mine, on this case, what's wrong with the vehicle is the whole motor needs to be pretty much broken down. The valve springs are bad. It may have lifters that are failing. There's probably speed sensors in the front that aren't working, hence why the ABS brake lights are on. And if that's on, the four-wheel drive doesn't work either, which we're getting close to winter. But the worst part is I'm down to 2 weeks and counting to go get the camper out of the campground, or we have to pay extra every day. And I don't want to pay extra. So yesterday, while I was out and about, I went and visited with a friend of mine. He's got a pretty nice truck. And I told him, I says, look, Monday morning, my truck has to go back in the shop. It's going to be a pretty good tear down rebuild. I don't know how soon I'm going to get it back out. But if we get too close to the 15th, can I just pay you to go over with your truck? You know, I'll take my car. We will go over your truck and my car, and we'll knock camp down, hook it up to the back of your truck, and then you can follow me back to my house because he's never been here. And he's like, I would take time out of my day, even if I had something going on, to be able to help you bring that camper back, Dave. He says, yeah. He says, you've been going through hell with your truck. And the funny part about it is his truck is the same truck as mine. It's only a year newer. But whoever had his did a much better job taking care of it. Much better job. So that's been something that's been really driving me nuts. It's like I told the garage, I was like, I haven't even paid anything on the July bill yet. And now I got to bring it back in for this. Any chance you could look at this and see if it's related in any way? Maybe some more wiring harness issues or something. And they took it to the owner. And the owner's like, yeah, I can't match donut for donut on this one, Dave. One's an apple, one's an orange. They look about the same size and shape, but they don't taste the same. He said, so whatever's wrong with it now, it's a lot worse than what you are dealing with before. And I'm like, man, I was hoping you'd tell me something different. At least this time, hopefully I don't have to have it towed in. Last time I did, because part of the problem last time was the wiring harness going to the fuel pump. I started the truck up to take it to the garage, and I made it about 50 feet down the road. It stalled. I let it coast into my yard, and I had to have a tow truck come pick it up because it would not start, which was sad. You know, I mean, I've got other vehicles at my disposal. It's not an issue, but that is the only one I have to move my trailers, my boat, or any of that stuff. So I need to have my truck. That, and I'm not done building on this back patio back here yet. So I've got a lot of materials to get yet. And that's the only vehicle I have that has a trailer hitch. It's also the only vehicle that has the capacity to haul weight. And so that's the bothersome part for me. I really don't like the idea of that. All right, so what else we got going on? Yeah, again, I want to get the hardware cloth to be able to redo the chicken coop, and I know that's not going to be cheap. There's no doubt in my mind about that, and I have to have my truck to haul that fence. There's no way I'm going to put that in the back of a brand new car. That'd be stupid. That's something else we got going on. The brand new car isn't the only car we have. We actually have a 2012 Mazda 6. But I have 3 employees, actually 4 employees that live in Moravia. 3 of them work all the time, and one of them is just whenever we need extra help. Well, the one girl has a car, but she has to share it with her boyfriend. So if her boyfriend needs to use the car, he owns the car. He gets first call on it. So that's their only way from Moravia to my house right now. They have one vehicle that the motor blew up on, so they bought another motor, but they're having trouble locating a shop where they can do the work. You like that shirt? Yeah, Mike likes that shirt too. The quality of those shirts, right? The one I've got on right now for Blackout Coffee, this is a screen printed shirt. When you're brushing your hand on it, you can actually feel the print on top of the shirt. And a few times you're washing this shirt, and you'll actually see it start cracking and peeling away. That one Mike has on, that'll never crack and peel away. That becomes part of the fiber of the shirt. And that's kind of the same style shirt we're going to be working with for them. I'm going to be ordering some more shirts here soon. because I need to get some different colors. I've got the gray one like he had on, and very very limited sizes. But I need to order more, and I need to order some white ones now because I just picked up another job Thursday that I got a couple of white shirts that they want. They actually didn't care if it was white or gray, but the picture had a lot of white in it. And on the gray shirt with the white, it actually kind of gave it a blue washout, which kind of totally destroyed the picture. I am going to be showing those in a video coming up, providing my GoPro doesn't screw up this time like it did last time. I don't believe it will. I don't believe it did. But I'm not going to bag them and all that stuff like I did the original video. I'm just going to show the shirt after it's been pressed. And that way you can see for yourself why I was disappointed in the way that turns out. But I mean, it's almost a given. I think I've said this before. When I do coffee cups, the coffee cups always start white. So anything looks good on a white coffee cup. On the shirts, I try to stay away from white because white gets dirty. Coffee cups, you wash them every time you use them anyway. Your clothes, you do too. But the problem with white clothes is that most dirt and things will actually get meshed right into it. If you turn the shirt inside out for these ones that have the screen print on them, it does help a little bit. Other parts of them that help, like right here in this case, yeah, they got that cut out, and same with the O and the C and everything here. And there's like some fade spots in it or whatever. They do that. It's called giving it a distress look, and it gives water a place to go through, so that any pressure from the wash can hit the print and evade around the sides of it rather than hit the print and just push it off the front of the shirt. And doing the distress look is fine if you want something that looks like it's very old, or if you want it to last and you don't care what it looks like. Me personally, I'm not a fan of it. I like things to be nice, crisp, clean, and clear. Yeah, I like gray shirts and I like blue shirts. My problem is that style of printing is called sublimation printing. They use a special ink and special printers on special paper. I've been told you don't have to use special paper, but I've tried it, and yeah, if you don't use special paper, you don't get good results. But the problem with that is you cannot print white, period. There's no way to print white. So if you want something that has some white in it, it has to be on a white t-shirt. I've been told that there are times with people doing it where they were able to go in and with a Clorox mix of water, lay a t-shirt out in their driveway, spray the water where they want it, like cut a piece of cardboard out for the pattern size they want, spritz that with the Clorox and just let it sit in the sun, and it'll bleach out the color of the shirt. And then you just take it in, throw it in the wash machine, wash it, dry it, and then bring it back in and print. But to me, that's a step I don't want to have to take. First of all, my driveway is dirt, gravel, whatever you want to call it. And second of all, we're heading for winter. If I spritz something out there now with Clorox and water, it's going to have ice on it in the morning. Wow, Rachel, that's sad. I know what it's like to have abscess teeth and stuff like that, though. But wow, to have more than one, that's painful. That's very painful. Best of luck to you, though, because I've been there and done that many times, and I hope never to have to go back. Well, actually, I never will have to go back and do that again. Yeah, I can do any color on the whole spectrum. The only one I can't do is white. I do have a white cartridge inkjet printer for doing like direct to film type printing, but again, that just lays the ink and stuff on top of the shirt, and the direct to film actually has the it's inside of his stomach. Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. Wow. The the direct to film type printing is there's a special glue you use. It's like a powder form, You have to put it on the back side where you printed, and then roll it back and forth to get it to stick, and then put that underneath the heat source like a heat press, but you don't close it down all the way, and you melt the glue. And then when you take it off, you have to put it on the garment you're going to do, and then use the heat press the regular way to press it on. And what that does is it leaves glue locked into the fibers of the shirt that have the ink on top of them. And for me, that's just a sad way of printing shirts. I actually bought the special printer and the special ink. The ink costs as much as the printer, and I have not even attempted to do it because I've heard nothing but bad results for that. Direct to garment printing, on the other hand, I've heard of a lot of people getting really good results with that. And there's another one of direct to film out, but the printer itself is very unique and special. All of the same processes are done as what I would have to do on mine, except for they have a like oven that you could, rather than using your heat press and holding it halfway down to let the heat transfer the glue onto the print. It actually has an oven that sets the sheet on and slide it in, and it heats up to a certain temperature. The timer goes off. You pull the sheet out, and you can set that sheet aside and use it whenever you want. It's fine after you get that stuff done. With the ones that I do that are sublimation print, I can print those sheets today, and I can come back 3 months later, take one of those sheets, and put it onto a garment, and they come out the same every time. Originally, the Dollar Seed shirt with that design on it was done with kind of a direct to film type print process. Except for when instead of being direct to film with the glues and stuff, it was actually done with a screen printing process. And when you flip it upside or right side up and down, so it's face down, and then you do it with a heat press. You have to press it for so long at such a temperature, and then raise it up, peel the paper off, get a piece of parchment paper, put that onto it, and do it again. That removes the shiny, glossy look of it or whatever. And I paid $1.50 per sheet for those, and I really was not impressed with them that well. I did do a lot of work with them, trying to play with it and stuff, and then I got into sublimation, and I'm like, well, what if I just do these shirts here by myself? The only disadvantage is because that is screen printed per se, is that it can be put on any color shirt, and the white of the boy's eyes and the white in his t-shirt will shine through with flying colors. Where when I do it, whatever the color of the shirt is the color of his eyes and the color of the stripes. Even though it looks real cool on the gray, I think some colors it would like really not look real cool. A blue would be, for instance. And I have done some blue shirts. I actually have one that it's kind of a royal blue with black print on it. That I did it as a joke. It says on the back, Trump 47 and big numbers and whatnot, and then on the front it says "Take America Back Again." And that one turned out looking really good. So I was pretty impressed with that. But I've also changed the shirts I'm using. Like the one that Mike had on today. That is a shirt made by a company called Jersey. It's 100% polyester, but it feels and looks just like a regular cotton t-shirt. The problem is it's not cotton. Yeah, Rachel, my prayers go out too. I feel bad for Sean. So I've got the gray ones like that, and I'm going to order some white ones like that because I do have 2 shirts that I need to have available for a customer that I promised, and there was a lot of white in it, and for some reason with the all the blue in the picture, the gray kind of washed out to be, instead of being gray for the boys' clothes or whatever, and the top of the waves, it actually turned it like a sky blue, and it pretty much destroyed the picture. Like I say, I recorded it. I'll share them. You can tell me what you think when I share them on my page, but or I'll not on my page. I'm actually going to share it on YouTube, but we'll go from there. All right, guys, my half hour once again has flown right by. Rachel, tell Sean we support him 100%. 100%. We are there for him. And everybody else, have a good night. And next week, same day, same time. We'll talk to you then. Later. Yeah, Lynn, I do accept prepaid cards for payment. Um, that's one thing. I mean, I am set up to do. I actually have. I can hold it up here, I believe. If I turn, I'll hang it up around things. I actually have what's called a Zettel for PayPal that I can use virtual gift card kind of things, prepaid cards, without having them in my possession. I just need information off the card, and I can type it on my phone for the amount, and then type the card number in on this, and it'll automatically charge the card and put that money in one of my accounts. Um, we also do checks. Um, Naturally, cash. Cash is king. All right, guys, I'm gonna call this one good. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you next week, and everybody take care. And Rachel, once again, our prayers going out for Sean. Hey, Wanda, you came in right at the last minute. We're just walking out the door. Sorry, hon. Later, guys.